Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer. This is Ralph Phillips. As you can see, no pretty graphics, no guests. It's just me tonight. Just me and my face. And that's it. You're lucky I'm on to begin with. I tell you what, this has been a very hectic few days. You know, it's always something with me. If it's not one thing, it's 10. You know, yesterday I was going to an event and had to pick something up in an area I wasn't familiar with. I took a right turn into an apartment complex, unaware that there was a big old hole, and I slammed into it. My expedition, I hit that thing at a 45-degree angle all the way to my expedition, which is not a small car, went into onto my right front. For somehow, I don't know what happened, but it messed up my transfer case. My, I don't know if it jammed the drive shaft into the transfer case. That's what I'm thinking. And it just, the clutch is jammed up in there. But anyhow, my car got stuck in four-wheel drive, and I'm 20 minutes away from home. I had to drive, I had to turn around, couldn't make the event, had to drive back home doing 20 miles an hour because, you know, you don't want to go fast in four-wheel drive. And so anyhow, looking to get a new car. We're going tomorrow, getting a new car. I'm going to fix this, but we were planning on getting a new car too. That's one of the things that we've been very hectic about this weekend. You know how it is about buying new cars, man. Hectic, hectic, hectic. Anyhow, the Buccaneers did their draft. Now, you've heard everybody else talk about the draft. I'm sure y'all have got your opinions, and everybody's heard and listened to everybody else. But now you get to hear mine. A day late and a dollar short. I should have gotten on Friday and Saturday. Those were fun days to watch the draft. And they go a lot quicker. So next year, we're going to try to do the whole weekend, just do live. I appreciate everybody that came on, jumped online with me and did the webcam and chat. That was fun. So that was an experiment. We're going to do that throughout the season. And I think that's going to be, well, what I want to do is after the games, have a call-in show where you can call in, give you 5 minutes rant or praise or whatever. That's the plan with all that. So how did the Bucs do with the draft? But not only how did the Bucs do with the draft, how did everybody do with the draft? And how did our NFC South opponents do in the draft? I will say this about this draft. I don't think anybody really messed up. It looked like probably the cleanest draft I've ever seen, where there wasn't really any where you went, what? You know, why would they do that? It was actually kind of scary at how good everybody was drafting, especially that first round. I am going to knock Philadelphia Eagles for drafting Jihad Campbell, but we'll see how that turns out. And then, of course, there was the whole Sanders thing. Now, the amazing thing to me about the Cleveland Browns taking Shedeur Sanders was right before that, I think in the round before, they took another quarterback. Let me see, who was it? They took Dylan Gabriel. No, wait a minute. They took him in the third round, quarterback from Oregon. Then in the fourth, they took a running back. And then in the fifth round, they took Sanders. So that was crazy. That was wild. I mean, what was going on with that? I watched all kinds of things, videos that I could, didn't have time for, on, you know, what the whole Sanders thing was. And I think that the best analysis I saw from it was that him not having an agent and Deion Sanders basically being his agent and them being so antagonistic, you know, acting like they're just going to step in, you know, they're going to get to choose who they go with. And the world evolves around them, really threw a lot of people off. So I don't think it was, really bad character or all that good stuff. I think it was really Dion. Ilmage, what's up, Rampage? Tom, yes, I can't drive. I tell you what, I was so mad. I was so mad. At first, I thought I, tore up my whole front end. I mean, for one, it was a huge dip. They didn't have a sign there or nothing, and I hit it at the worst possible angle you can. Oh, I was so mad. And I had an event I was supposed to go to, and I'd been looking forward to this event for months, if not a full year. And I was looking forward to it, and it was a hectic day and everything. So I was late anyhow, and I had to stop and do this as a favor to somebody. Man, I tell you what, you did not want to be around me yesterday. I actually had to pull off in a church parking lot at one point to try and troubleshoot it. And man, I probably cussed more in that church parking lot than that church parking lot has ever heard. It was a rough day, man. Ugh, rough day. But yeah, anyhow, going tomorrow, get a new car, dang it. Rampage, what's up, brother? MH. Oh, I know. MH, it was so funny watching everybody when we picked a wide receiver. I went back and watched all the live streams that I could. And it was so funny how everybody was like, and then you could see their mind, trying to, well, like, how can we spin this as a good thing? And then everybody was like, well, he's a good player, good character, all that good stuff. But it shocked everybody, man, everybody. And again, it was the same thing that happened 2 years ago, where you put in all this work to study game film and tape, and you do your mock drafts and all that, and then they pick somebody you totally didn't have picked, except Tom Romeo. I got to give him credit. He did pick Egbuke as his sleeper pick. So got to give you credit for that one, Tom. And he also, remember y'all were talking about, we had the questions, and I asked him who was one guy that, I can't remember what the question was, but anyhow, Tom talked about his quarterback from West Virginia, and we got him too. And he said that he won't be a quarterback, he'll be a wide receiver. And we got him as a wide receiver. So hats off, Tom. I haven't gone back and looked at all that. This is Tom letting me know. He was like, make sure you brag about me. So I got to brag about it. I'm going to go back and look at all of our picks and stuff. And Craig sent me a bunch of picks too. And I want to see how close he got. But, everybody loves doing these mock drafts. For some reason, everybody loves being right with these draft picks. I was going back and, I was really, really enjoying, I want to do like what everybody picked in 2024 and who got that wrong, and in 2023 and who got that wrong and all that good stuff. It's kind of like some of the Buccaneer websites or live streams. They'll do 20 mock drafts, and then they get 4 players right out of the draft, and then they'll be like, hey, we picked the right ones. So I just find that very funny. But everybody, for some reason, really likes being right about the draft. They like to be proven right. There was one person, I'm not going to mention their names, but they put on X, they were like, I chose 5 out of the 6 guys as good fits for the Bucs, and like they had a list of like 6 guys for each position. I was like, well, I guess that's something to. So I find that interesting. The draft is becoming much more interesting to me. I appreciate you guys turning me on to it, man. George, what's up, man? Yeah, LMH, I can only imagine what the stadium was like. Everybody was like, who? What? A wide receiver? Your Friday. 3.5 hours drive from Fort Myers to Tampa. What happened Friday? A B plus Rampage. I was looking at the grades for what everybody gave grades for everybody in the draft. Nobody got a bad grade. Nobody. It was, I think B minus was like the lowest grade I saw. It just seemed like this year nobody really stepped out of bounds, man. I think we were probably the most swervy. A B plus, huh? Interesting. Yeah, MH, what are we gonna do about linebacker? I don't know, man. Yeah, yeah, Rampage. I was gonna say that too. Yeah, Rondé Barber said that. I got the quote here. I got this from JoeBucksFan.com. He said the tea leaves in this pick, being a bouquet number one wide receiver, tell you a couple of things. Number one, Mike Evans. Number two, Chris Godwin. Number three, Jalen McMillan. Those three players are the top three wide receivers in Tampa right now. They believe this, obviously, talking about the front office. They believe something is up with one of them. So read the tea leaves in there. That was interesting, and it's got to be it's got to be Godwin, right? That he's just not. I mean, I was shocked, completely shocked when they said he was going to come back this year, and then we re-signed him. I was completely shocked. I thought his career was done. I mean, that's two huge injuries. I mean, his leg. You saw his leg. He was dragging. I don't know. I don't know. Light said that his rehab is going well and he's doing great and all that good stuff. But of course, he's going to say that, right? Don't know, man. Don't know. Don't know. It was a shock. I think it was a shock to everybody. I know it was a shock to all of us here on chat that we picked a wide receiver. I mean, we know they had talked about it. Everybody had kind of thrown it around and all that good stuff, but we didn't really think it was going to happen. And then for it to be a bouquet, I mean, there was great. There was like other wide receivers, Golden. I was like, I don't know, man. Yeah, the hamstring issues. Yeah, is Bowles running them too hard during practice, or does Bowles have anything to do with it? I don't know. I mean, crap. Does he even run the offense? I know Arians had an issue with that, right? Didn't he? His first year, a bunch of wide receivers had hamstring issues, and he was like, "All right, we're not going to do as much running anymore." Although he's always, "Hey, Kate, what's up?" He's always had a very lackadaisical attitude towards practice. Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The bomb threat. Yeah. Did you send me a link to that or something? I was like, what is this about? Yeah. Yeah. Bomb threat. Got home at 1 a.m. Man. A lack of deep elite talent played a part in the grades. I, you know, I get developing a culture. I really do. But I also worry about we don't want it to be another, the Shiano man type thing where we're just picking guys because they have the attitude and personality we want. I mean, from what I hear about this Egbuke, he's just is exactly what they want character wise. They're kind of you know professional and uh, an adult. You know, I think we're done with the Antonio Brown type receivers and maybe the Jameis Winstons. Uh, I think we really like the kind of receiver that Mike Evans has turned into. So we're kind of looking for that. And Godwin, Godwin's very good, family oriented, just goes out there and grinds, doesn't, not a prima donna and all that. So I think they're like really looking for those guys now. But I don't want it to be that way. I don't want it to be they're like, oh, this guy has got the personality. I want I want to watch good football. So this guy better be playing some good football. Is all I gotta say. Is he going to start? I mean, if he starts, where's he going to start? Is he going to take McMillan's spot? has been killing it. I mean, he's going to be a slot guy, right? From what I understand, he's a slot guy. That's Godwin's spot. Are we going to put Godwin on the outside? What are we going to do? I don't know. We got so many good wide receivers. You know, I'm still a Raheem Jarrett fan. We got McMillan. Oh, we got rid of Tanner Canoe. We released him today or yesterday to make way for all these guys. All right, let's talk about this draft. I'll sit here and ramble all day. Okay, first pick at number 19, Emeka Egbuka. Hope I'm saying that right. Wide receiver from Ohio State. Now, I have downloaded and I've got my hands on all the All-22 for every guy we drafted, except David Walker. I'm still working on that. Central Arkansas, obviously not a whole lot of All-22 floating around out there. But I got everybody else. So hopefully my plan is to make some long-form videos on these guys. I was hoping to be able to do some video work today, but all of us had to put this off till 7 p.m., but I was able to get it here on time. So you just have to look at my pretty face all night. So then Emeka Egbuka was number 1. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback from Notre Dame, was number 2. Our second round pick at number 53. Jacob Parrish, cornerback from Kansas State, selected round 3, number 84. David Walker, edge rusher from Central Arkansas, or Arkansas, however you want to pronounce it, selected around 4 at number 121. Elijah Roberts, edge rusher from SMU, selected around 5, number 157. And then Tej Johnson, wide receiver from Oregon, selected around 7, number 235. Interesting thing about this draft: 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, 2 edge rushers. That's it. We went wide receiver, cornerback, edge rusher. So you can say we hit 2 of our needs, edge, cornerback. But I am really shocked at some of the guys we left on the board. I really am. Now, Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish, I know nothing about. Nothing about. Never heard of them. Didn't watch any of their stuff. I didn't watch any cornerback stuff or wide receiver stuff. But everybody says they're good. Benjamin Morrison, apparently he's got injury issues, hip. He's had like 3 surgeries already. He missed all of last year or some crap. So, that one's a little what? Apparently he's a ball hawk when he does play, but you know how it is. Accountability is availability. Availability is accountability, blah, blah, blah. I did find it interesting, though, that we put wide receiver at the level of need with cornerback and edge. So maybe Rondé's got something going on there with, there's some issues there. Now, the last guy we picked, Tej Johnson, is apparently the lightest guy to have ever played in the NFL. If he takes a snap, he'll be 150 pounds, 155, somewhere in that area, which I'm surprised. I was like, wow, that's the smallest, lightest guy that's ever played. But I think he's 5'9", 154. And then an undrafted free agent, I'll just jump into this. We picked up the guy, Desmond Watson, defensive tackle out of Florida Gators representing. He's 434 pounds right now. He was like 460 when he played. So we'll have the largest, if both these guys make the team, which highly doubtful. They might make practice squad. They'll be the heaviest guy to have ever played and the lightest guy to ever play. I think we've got to get these guys snaps just so that we can have those records. But I found that very strange that we picked 2 wide receivers. Egbuka, I watched game film on it, and I'll say this. Watching game film, the hardest positions to really analyze is wide receiver and cornerback. Those 2 are the hardest to analyze. But for one, half their snaps they aren't doing anything. special wide receivers. They'll run fake routes or as decoys, stuff like that. And you're like, you can't really tell what's going on there. Really, there's only a couple things you can look for. They're uh, how clean their routes are. How nice their cuts, good stuff like that. If they get separation, I call that route running. If you get good snap, if you can uh, get some, fake the guy out. I love that mess. You don't see that much, but if you can do that, that kind of stuff is obvious. And blocking. Other than that, that's about it that you can tell from a wide receiver. And most of them don't block a lot. They might stand in front of a guy, but the quarterbacks generally, if they're on the outside, the quarterbacks will just kind of just stand there too. And they're not going to try and run inside and try and make a tackle. So quarterbacks and wide receivers are the hardest to analyze, and we've got four we got to look at. So I'm not real happy about that. Egbuka, from what I have seen, he seems kind of like Godwin. Just that kind of that same snap he's got, and toughness. He catches the ball and then just like trucks. Not like super speedy, but he's not going to go down if you blow on him. So anyhow, what's everybody saying in chat? I just kind of left you guys hanging there. Everyone calm down about the first round pick by now. I know, right, Kate? What's up, Rashad? Me and Molly were just talking about you the other day. I was like, I haven't seen Rashad in a while. What's up, man? You think it might be McMillan? Oh, please don't let it be. I really liked him last year, man. He really, really blossomed. And he looked like, he was physical. He was out there blocking and fighting with dudes. I love that. Man, I hope that's, geez, if I had to choose between that or Godwin being too injured, dude, man, I'd have to go with McMillan because I love me some Godwin, man. Two quarterbacks in the first round is insane. I know, right? I know. This was not a good year for quarterbacks. What about the Browns picking? They picked, who was that guy again? The Oregon quarterback in round 3, Dylan Gabriel, and then they picked Shedeur Sanders in round 5. Man, what a smack in the face! Talk about an ego punch. Oof. I know the Sanders family have a lot of pride, but man, that one's that's a curb stomp on your soul right there. So what are the Browns? They got like 6 quarterbacks on their roster who are all going to be fighting for a starting job. I heard Deshaun Watson is injured again. He's having surgery. So he might just be done. Man, what talk about the worst trade in NFL history? Oof. Maybe all of sports history. What he guaranteed $200 million? Oh, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, who they just drafted, Shedeur Sanders, who they just drafted, and Deshaun Watson, who, yeah, he's hurt. They got him in the red, man. Man. So what is going on in Cleveland? They've gone since, man, for 30 years, literally 30 years, if not longer, 35 years, they have not had a quarterback except Baker Mayfield. And they've got a list. There's been probably, 40 quarterbacks that have played for them? Now they've got 5 who are going to fight for a starting job. That's crazy, man. Cleveland. And who they have to throw it to? Jerry Jeudy, okay. Deontay Johnson just signed with them. But what's up with him? He's been bouncing around. Ugh, gosh. And their running back situation, they got that Quinshawn Judkins. Jerome Ford, he's nothing. Apparently they're not going to bring back Chubb. Yeah, but Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong, both of them are, they had their shot at starting. They didn't do nothing with it. So what is Cleveland, man? What are y'all doing? They're funny. Cleveland's a funny team. All right, so yeah, two quarterbacks in the first round. What was the number one position drafted in the first round? We got cornerback, edge, offensive tackle, defensive tackle, running back, offensive tackle. We got three offensive tackles, five offensive tackles. Defensive tackles, we got one, two, three, four defensive tackles, five defensive tackles. Yeah, cornerback, one. But Travis Hunter, we don't count him. He's not a cornerback. He's gonna be a wide receiver. Edge, two, three, four. Running back, we got one, two running backs. So I guess offensive tackle and defensive tackle. That's wild. One, two. Oh, wait a minute. Wide receiver three. No, there's only three wide receivers. So offensive line, defensive line, man. Wow. Jackson Dart. I think the Giants had a pretty good draft. I think the Giants had a pretty good draft. So they got Abdul Carter, bam, Jackson Dart, Darius Alexander. They got Skatibo. They got my boy. Marcus Imbo, Thomas Fidone, probably butchering that name, and Corey Black. So they went edge, quarterback, defensive tackle, running back, offensive guard, tight end, and cornerback. So they covered the whole base. The only thing they didn't draft was wide receiver and safety. They got everything else. That's funny. Browns are cooked. I think we could say that every year safely. How do you get rid of Baker Mayfield, get Deshaun Watson, and then just destroy it? There are no draft experts, only cheerleaders. You're right, Tom. You're right. Yeah, it's funny because I looked at draft grades from like ESPN and NFL and all that. There was nothing under a B minus. I was like, what? But I kind of felt that way too. They should go back. Does anybody do that? Does anybody know if you do that? If anybody's done that, gone back and reevaluated draft grades, that'd be cool. I I think it's Godwin too, Kate. I hate to say it, but I think it is. I was like I said, I was completely shocked that he was going to continue playing, and then that we re-signed him. Wasn't really shocked that we re-signed him, to be honest with you, because I think they were going to give him money. Just they really like Godwin. He's just a great guy, but I didn't think he was going to play again, which he might not still. Yeah, Browns, man. Rashad, what is up with the Browns? They a funny team. They just funny. Did they get anybody across from Miles Garrett? Did they get Miles Garrett any help? No. Oh, Kate, they got your boys, Schwessinger, linebacker out of UCLA. Did y'all see? And I'm not going to sit here and talk about Shador Sanders because I think we're all burned out on that. But did y'all see the Cleveland Browns draft room when they made that pick? I don't think I've ever seen a more solemn draft room. I mean, they all look like they were forced to make that pick. There wasn't a smile on the face. They were all just like, me and Molly were both like, what's wrong? What's going on here? I know. I don't know why we're talking about the Browns. 4 wide receiver packages, and Kate, we could do it. I mean, right now we got what, a dozen wide receivers, and I like a lot of them. But I mean, we did have injuries last year. I mean, we got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan, Raheem Jarrett, Ryan Miller. Forgot about him. I really like Ryan Miller. And we just got rid of Canoe. New. Oh, and we got Shepard. I mean, that's 2, 4, 6, 7. That's 7 guys, not including our draft pick, our 2 draft picks. That's 7 guys who I like are legit wide receivers. Yeah, we got Sterling Shepard. Let me recount this again. One, we got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan, Sterling Shepard, Ryan Miller, Raheem Jarrett, Cameron Johnson. I liked him last year. And then we got Emeka Ibuka and Ted Johnson. I don't know anything about Ted Johnson. But that's 10 guys. That's 10 legit starting caliber wide receivers. 10. Then we got Dennis Houston, Will Shepard. Who else we got? I said Jalen McMillan, right? Okay. So, yeah, we could run 5 wide receiver packages, but we got running backs we want to run. I want to see Sean Tucker and Bucky. That's wild, man. This is gonna be a wild season. What's up, Sam? The Baker Gang, yes, sir. Okay. Sam, man, I think it might be over for Rashad. Don't know. I really don't know. I really don't. Really, really don't. I think it's beyond a doubt Bucky's the starter. Um, if Rashad can take being, a passing down back, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't think he's not going to be the starter. Bucky's going to be the starter. He's going to be a 3 down back, and Rashad will come down in certain passing situations. I think. But is Rashad going to want to do that? Yeah, not only Otten, we've got Devin Culp, we've got Payne Durham, we've got a monster passing attack. I really like Payne Durham, and I really liked what I saw, the little bit I saw from Devin Culp last year. I really like Payne Durham though. And then of course, Kate Otten. What's our offense going to be like? I mean, man, is our running game going to keep up last year? Was it Liam that really brought the running game out? Was it the offensive line? Was it our offensive line coach? I don't know. I think a lot of it had to do with our scheme. I really liked. We confused people a lot, but I'm going with offensive line because as great as our running back, as great as Bucky Irvin was to watch, our running backs rarely, and I mean rarely, got tackled behind the line of scrimmage. They normally had quite big holes to go through. So I'm going to chalk it up to our offensive line and our new offensive line coach. So I think we're going to be okay in the running game. Uh, what is our offense? What's our offensive identity going to be, man? With all these weapons, goodness, you could go either way. Whew. Man, we got a lot of good receivers. Bucky can't block. He might get better this year. You know, it happens. I've seen running backs make huge leaps in pass protection, but yeah, he's so small for pass protection. But I've seen good small pass protectors, Dave. Yeah, there's no way you could cover that, Kate. There's no way. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bouquet, McMillan, and White. Yeah, there's no team in the league that's got a defense to cover that. But of course, you know, I say this, and every year I say this. Every year I look at a position group and go, wow, we're stacked. We have problems with that position group. It never fails. That's what I heard about Bouquet. He's a great run blocker. I've got the game film. I'm going to watch it, and I've got the I've got 5 games of him, all 22. So I'm going to watch it and see what we got with that dude. Oh, I'm seeing 50 touchdown season. Heck yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have a pretty potent offense. I mean, our offensive line was good last year. It's gonna be dominant this year. They've had another year to work together. I think our offensive lines are gonna be very dominant. Their improvement in the run game last year was just incredible. Yeah, you got to have the passing down back carry the ball. My issue though is Rashad White. I don't think he's going to want to be a backup. You know, to have such a limited role. I mean, if they put him out like Kate said as a wide receiver, you know, give him a handful of plays doing that, handful of plays as uh, uh, a catcher out of the backfield, handful of plays running, then I think it'll be cool. But they got to let him know he's involved. But we can't just he's not going to be happy with 10 touches a game. You know, he thinks he's a starter. He's got a taste for it. I don't know if he will be good with relegating to a backup role, man. Just don't know. I mean, he seems like a really good guy, but I don't know if he's one of those guys that, you know, I'll sacrifice for the benefit of the team type. He could get heavier, Kate. We could stretch him out. Somebody standing on his toes and somebody else pulling on the top of with the bed of what was it? The bed of accretion. Where they stretch him out, put him on the rack. Did Akeem Hicks ever retire? That's a good question. Yeah, no problem, Sam. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a vast reduction. I know I've got him in fantasy football too. I'm not going to keep him now. I just don't think he's going to get the same production. Who was it that retired and just announced? Oh, Julio Jones. Yeah. Julio Jones. Yeah, Akeem Hicks retired 2022. Officially retired. He didn't officially retire until 2023 at the end of the season. didn't play in 2023. That's it's kind of like with Julio Jones, where they're like, "Yeah, I'm going to retire because nobody wants to hire me anymore." Oh man, Kate, I'm telling you, I don't think he'll do it. I don't think he'll white. I just he just doesn't seem like that type of guy that's gonna be okay with being a blocker or a decoy or he wants the ball. And like I said, I love Rashad White. I think he's a great person. I think he's a good running back. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. But we don't know is if Bucky's if he's gonna be a warhorse or a bell cow or if he can physically do it. He got a lot of snaps last year though. How many snaps did Bucky get? Dang, I didn't realize Bucky had such a great pass catching percentage. He was 90% pass catching. He had 52 targets and 47 receptions. Holy crap. I did not know that. That's pretty good. Probably our best wide receiver. That's Bucky Irvin. Am I looking at the right thing? Yeah. Okay, snap count. He had a 45% snap count on offense last year, 516 snaps. So not the not a bell cow for sure. His biggest game was 49% against New Orleans, week 6. Yeah, man, he didn't have. He had no. I'm sorry, 60 no 71%, 72% against New Orleans, week 17. That was his biggest uh, percentage of offensive snap counts. He stayed right around 30, 40%. So he was 45% overall. Uh, Against New Orleans, though, we like to run him. We ran him week 6. He had 64% snap count. Those were his two biggest snap counts. Was against New Orleans. So we don't even know if he could be, full time running back. Three downer. Yeah, Rashad. I'm kind of actually surprised at how good Bucky Irving's receiving total was. I mean, that's really quite impressive. 90% catch rate. And it's not like he only had 3 targets. He had, what did I say, 47 receptions on 52 targets. That's 8.3 yards per catch average. No touchdowns, though. That's quite, I'm actually kind of shocked on that. Let me see, what was Rashad White's percentage? We're not even talking about the draft here. Last year, he had, oh, he had 89%. Well, we'll say 90, 89.5. Almost the exact same. He had 57 targets, 51 receptions. Wow. But he did have 6 touchdowns. Big difference, huh? He had less yards per catch, though, 7.7. I don't remember Bucky Irvin being that much of a pass catcher. I, I mean, if you would have put a gun to my head and asked me, I would have been like, yeah, no, he did all right. Huh. He was right up there with Rachaad White. Interesting. Now, Rachaad White had 56% of the snap counts last year. You know, if you're going to have a bell cow back, they're going to get, 70, 80% of the snap counts. So those two split. So they'll probably do it again. But I think, I don't know, man. They might just stay the same that they did last year. It worked. Why change it? I don't know. I did not realize Bucky had that many catches. I don't know. Okay, let's get back to the draft. All right. So we drafted those guys, which it was very shocking to me that we went 2 wide receivers, 2 edge guys, 2 cornerbacks. Now the quarterback edge, that's you kind of expected that, but 2 wide receivers, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, our wide receiver depth is definitely going to help our running game, right? Man, we got a lot of weapons at wide receiver. Goodness. Ooh. Okay, so I looked at some of the tape on all these guys. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. The one that stood out to me was Elijah Roberts from SMU. It was funny. I watched a little bit of tape on Central Arkansas guy. I don't have the tape. I watched somebody else's. It was just clips. It wasn't highlights, but it was like clips. Their field cracked me up. It's like blue and white. It's striped. Central Arkansas. It's like one 5-yard is blue, the other 5 yards is white, the other 5 yard is blue. It was really weird looking at watching the games. I was like, that's kind of hard to watch. And there was like nobody there. The stands were very empty. And I was like, so Central Arkansas, where is that? It is the college, the town I was going to move to before we moved here. Conway, Arkansas. I looked all over the country and I was like, Conway, Arkansas was really, the housing was affordable. You get a lot of land with your house. I didn't want to be too far out in the boonies and all that good stuff. And Conway seemed like a really nice place. So I had looked in the Central Arkansas when I was looking at buying houses and ended up picking this area instead, mainly because Arkansas is way too far from the beach and too far from our family. We wanted to kind of be a little bit closer. So anyhow, watching David Walker, it was wild watching the field that Central Arkansas plays on. I've never seen a field like that. I've seen some weird fields, never seen one like that though. But Elijah Roberts, he stood out to me out of all the guys. And like I said, it's just preliminary watching these guys. But Elijah Roberts has got a huge toolbox, a bigger toolbox than any of the big names that we watched on edge. The Pierces and the all the guys we had, the edge rushers. I was actually kind of surprised watching those guys and how most of them, had 2 or 3 moves in their toolbox. But Elijah Roberts has got a bunch of moves. And he was very violent and relentless, which I like. I do like the finesse guys. I like the guys that use their hands and their speed and get around and twist and turn all that good stuff. And he did that stuff too, but he was very violent, which I like that. I like that. And relentless, had a high motor. But I'm going to watch multiple games. Like I said, I just watched a handful of plays, and that's the thing that popped out with me with him. So I'm excited to watch more of him. David Walker, like I said, I'm still trying to get more game film on him. But all the rest of them, I've got multiple games. And hopefully we're going to get a good indicator of who these guys are. He's a monster, Rashad? Yeah, I'd never heard of him. Yeah, he was. He was playing inside, outside on the clips I was watching. He was all over the field. Very good with his twists and his stunts. He played with, he kept his eye on the ball, but he played with very focused. It's like he had a goal and he was going to accomplish that goal. So he really popped out from me. Is he as good as the guy I wanted, Michael Williams, who ended up picking him? No, I wouldn't say he was as good as Michael Williams, but he was better than Shamar Stewart or Nick Scorton or James Pierce or Donovan Zuriaki. Yeah, I would say he was better than them. From the little bit I saw. We'll see. We'll watch a couple of games of him, and we'll see if he makes mistakes or if he gasses out or any of that good stuff. The normal stuff we look for. David Walker, like I said, I'm still trying to get film on him. I'm trying to remember, who was it that got Michael Williams? Oh, the 49ers. That's right, 49ers. NFC South, I'm kind of upset because I think they all drafted very well. Atlanta, I think they did the best. They went like all defense. They picked up an offensive tackle in the 7th round. But other than that, they got Jalen Walker. They got James Pierce Jr., which, I liked him. If we would have got him, I wouldn't have been upset. They got the safety Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, and another safety, Billy Bowman Jr. So I think the Falcons did really good. They really hit their needs, and they got some good players there, man. That Jalen Walker's going to give us fits. I'll tell you that. Carolina, I was impressed with their picks too. They got Nick Scorton and Princely Umamamlalan, which, Scorton, he was okay. Not my notes on him were he was too slow, frantic, not in control a lot. He reminded me a lot of JPP, but just without the dominance. Because JPP was a very, very chaotic, frantic player. But he was dominant. He would keep going. You'd knock him down or whatever, he'd get right back up and beat you up. They did pretty good. They got their running back Trevor Etienne, safety Lathan Ransom from Ohio State. He's going to be good. Cam Jackson, defensive tackle from Florida. He played with our 450-pounder we got. I think he was a rotation guy with him. Tight end Mitchell Evans and wide receiver Jimmy Horn Jr. Is that Jimmy Horn Sr.'s kid? Obviously it is, but is that the wide receiver, Jimmy Horn? And of course, they got McMillan, Titiora from Arizona, wide receiver, as their first pick. That kind of shocked everybody too. But they do need wide receiver help. I felt that they needed more help on defense, both them and Atlanta. New Orleans now, they got help right away. Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle from Texas. Then they went with quarterback Tyler Shella. Now that's interesting He's a Louisville guy. Don't know nothing about him, but it's an interesting pick. From what I hear, he's kind of a gunslinger. Is that right? But then they got, man, how many picks did they get? Good grief. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They got 9 picks in this draft. So they got Banks, offensive tackle from Texas. Good pick. Can't ever go wrong with that. Tyler Shaw, quarterback, Louisville. Vernon Broughton, defensive tackle from Texas. Then Jonas Sanker, safety from Virginia. Then Danny Stutzman, linebacker, Oklahoma. Quincy Riley, cornerback of Louisville. Then Devin Neal, running back from Kansas. Moliki Matavua, UCLA, tight end. And Fadil Diggs, edge rusher out of Syracuse. So their first 2 picks, offensive tackle, quarterback. And then they went defensive tackle, safety, linebacker, cornerback. So I think they hit all 3 of these teams in the NFC South. Got to try and stop our offense. And I think the Saints were like, okay, let's pick a lot of defense here. So they did good there. Carolina did well, picking guys to try and stop our offense. And Atlanta definitely, I feel, are focusing on our offense. They needed defense. They went defense. So I think all the guys in the NFC South did good. It sucks, but none of them look like they crapped the bed. So then, very next day, we signed a whole bunch of undrafted free agents. And man, did we go crazy there. After the first day of the draft, I was kind of like, man, here we go, another boring draft. And it was kind of boring, for the players we didn't get no sparkly, fancy, glitter players. But then, undrafted free agent, we just went crazy. We got Shiloh Sanders, safety from Colorado. What? Where did that come from? Don't even know if he'll make the team, man. Then we got Desmond Watson. That's the one everybody's talking about. Defensive tackle from Florida. 434 pounds. That's what he's at right now. He played at 460, 470, around that area. I mean, I haven't looked at no tape on him, but I watched highlights. Oh my gosh, is he just a huge mountain of a man? I mean, when he grabs hold of it, there's that one highlight where he grabs the running back, picks him up, and just like a rag doll. Just slung him to the ground, almost one-handed. And then there was another clip I saw where the running back is going in a hole. It's this wide hole, and Watson steps into the hole, and the running back looks. You see the running back look up and see him, and then just back out and run the other direction. I mean, just totally said, no, I'm not even going to try. That's a big man. Molly says he's too big and out of shape. And I'm like, for as big as he is, he could move. You expect big guys like that to just kind of stand in one spot. But he was like running around, doing stuff. Kate likes show. You think Pierce will be better than Walker for Atlanta? Now I'm saying that Walker as an inside linebacker. That's where I think he should play. I was not impressed with him on the edge. But if they move him to inside linebacker, which I think they should do, I think that'll be good. Or he can rotate both positions. Best thrower show it. Is the best thrower like deep ball or accuracy? Best quarterback in the draft. Woo, Kate. Well, I don't want to hear that in our division. You like Diggs, Rampage? Oh, Rampage says he'd show us. Could be a wasted pick. You think Shiloh will make the team as special teams, huh? Special teams eighth. And now, doesn't he have shoulder issues? Yeah, I don't want to say that either, guy. I want him to be a bust. I want them to start him, and I want him to be a bust. Uh, I remember watching. I watched Colorado a couple times last year, and I was more impressed with Shiloh than I was with the other Sanders, the quarterback, Shador. So I'm kind of surprised that he fell so bad, but or that he didn't even get drafted. But I think he had shoulder injuries, right? Uh, he's got accuracy and force. Oh, he's good Madden quarterback. I got to start playing Madden again. I told y'all I've been playing Call of Duty. I'm so addicted to that game. I the past couple years I haven't really played, you know. And then the new Warzone for Dance came out, and like a dummy, I was like, "Oh, it's for Dance. I gotta play it just for old time's sake." 5 hours later, I'm. Ugh. Love me some Call of Duty, man. I love me some Madden too, but I can't. It's kind of like, and I did this with Call of Duty. You know how with football, I was watching way too many sports. I was watching hockey. I was watching NASCAR. I was watching boxing. I was watching UFC. I was watching NFL. Gosh, what else was I watching? I mean, it's like my whole day was ended up being consumed by sports. I had uh, in this office, I don't have a TV in here, but I will put TV on my computer monitor, on one of my computer monitors. But I used to have a big screen TV in my office, and I would have sports on all day long. And while I was working, a lot of times I'd just end up stopping and watching the game and not getting enough work done. So I said, I have got to cut down on my sport watching. So I said, I'm going to just watch one sport. And of course, it's the Buccaneers. Right? So cut out all the other sports. I did the same thing with video games. I was like, man, I was playing all kinds of video games, Biohazard, uh, Fallout, Halo, and then Call of Duty. And I started playing Call of Duty, and I was playing it so much. I was like, all right, I can't play all these video games. I can only stick with one. Which one am I going to stick with? It was Call of Duty. So I spent all my time playing Call of Duty, and Madden fell to the wayside. And then 2018, I played Madden. I had a friend of mine who was really into it, so we started playing every night for. I think I gave us an hour every night. I was like, I can only dedicate an hour to this, and we did that for about a year, and then and then for Dance came out, the Call of Duty. I had to tell him, I was like, dude, Call of Duty is my game. I gotta abandon you, man. So anyhow, I gotta start playing. I got my PS4. I moved it up in my office. I got it right here because I got gaming monitors, and I'm like, I'll allow myself an hour a day to get on and just play, and I haven't been able to do it. I haven't been able to play for 4 days now. It's driving me crazy. I'm like, I want to play. But anyhow, that's me ranting about myself. Let's get back to the draft. Yes, yes. Tom was telling me. Tom sent me a write up on all these guys, the undrafted free agents. Let me bring it up here. Yes, the tackle. Is that Ben Chikwama Rampage? Is that who you're talking about? Or are you talking about Jake Myers from Texas? You think he might make the team too? Or Ben Scott from Nebraska? Man, we got a whole bunch of guys. Okay, here's who we got. Undrafted free agent. This is the list that I have. It might be different now because, you know, we churn through these guys. We add guys and all this good stuff. So we got safety Shiloh Sanders from Colorado. Safety J.J. Roberts from Marshall. Defensive tackle Desmond Watson, Florida. Go Gators. 434 pounds. Beast of a man. Wide receiver Will Shepard, Colorado. Center Jake Majors, Texas. Tackle Ben Chukwama from Georgia State. Center Ben Scott from Nebraska. Quarterback Connor Bazelak, Bowling Green. Running back Josh Williams, LSU. Linebacker John Buccaneers from Nebraska. Tight end Anthony Lanfear, Memphis. Wide receiver Garrett Green, West Virginia. There you go, Tom, your boy. That's the quarterback. He was a quarterback. Just like Tom said was going to happen. Quarterback Roman Parody. Kicker Ryan Coe from Cal. I don't know, is that Cal State or? Defensive end Mason Narcisse from Louisiana. I wonder, is that a French name? Narcisse. In order to sign those guys, we had to cut some people. So we waived wide receiver Marquise Callaway, cornerback Dallas Flowers, outside linebacker Daniel Gaziziak, and wide receiver Tanner New, or Canoe, as I like to call him. So what's going to happen with those guys? Don't know. Don't know if we'll bring any of them back. Of these guys, Tom says that Shiloh Sanders is awful at safety, or that's what he's heard. He doesn't know. Oh, and he beat up a security guard. Didn't know that. The other safety is 5'10", 195 pounds. He's got a 4.41 40. I watched a guy who was an ex-college player who tried out for the combine for the NFL, and he got brought in, but he never got signed by a team. And he talked about how he was a cornerback or a safety. I can't remember, but they said his time was slow. He was like a 4.7 or something. So he went to, and he explained how the whole process goes. It was really interesting. But he actually went and paid $30,000 at an elite running academy. Now, his agent paid for half of it, which was $50,000, but he had to come up with $15,000. And he ended up getting his 40 time down to 4.51. He actually ran, and he said he was mad because he ran a I think it was a 4.48, but they listed it as a 4.51 or something like that. But anyhow, so he actually knocked off quite a bit of his time for $15,000. Jake Majors, the center from Texas, was supposed to be a 4th round pick, but his arms are extremely short. So there's another one, Ben Scott from Nebraska. He's a 2-year starter for Nebraska, and before that he started Arizona State. So Tom thinks one of those is going to make it. Rampage, which one was the one you thought was going to make it? The Major's out of Texas. Okay. So is he the one with the short arms? Yeah, short arms. Bottom 5% arm lengths. Now, Rampage, you like arms, right? Weren't you a long arm guy? Or is that just defense? Now, the offensive tackle, Ben Chukwuemeka, according to Tom's, got a great chance of making the team. He was paid $300,000 to sign with Tampa. That's the highest in the NFL. It's most you can get to sign these guys, right? 6'6", 310 pounds. So he's got the measurables. It's kind of how big was DeMar Dotson? He was huge. He was like 6'8", right? God, he was so big. We met him. He was a big dude. He was just huge, massive guy. 6'9". He was 6'9", 315 pounds. So 6'6", 310. That's pretty stocky, too. It's tall and stocky. He's from Nigeria. Never played football until he turned 17. Apparently had a great game against the Marshall's Mike Green, who he went high in the draft. Relatively high. I think second round. The other safety, J.J. Roberts, was drives up the draft boards. He's 5'10", 195 pounds, fast 40, 4.41. But he closes on the ball fast, but dropped several interceptions. So it doesn't have the best hands. That's why he plays defense. Tom, I got to go back and verify that you said that. Hey, Book, I'm taking your word for it, man. I don't think I wrote it down. My notes are so hectic. My whole life is so hectic right now. Yeah. Gotta go buy a car tomorrow, too. That's always fun, right? We've actually had this car. We've been working on it for a week. We really, really like it. So, I am not a spontaneous buyer. I don't buy nothing, nothing. I mean, I wouldn't even like buy socks without thinking about it. I have like a 24-hour rule. And it's pretty cool because my daughter does it now too. Like when we go to the store, she was like, "Oh, I want this," and she'll be like, "I'm going to put it away." And my whole philosophy is, if you put it away and you still want it tomorrow, then go get it. So anyhow, cars are a big deal, and I'm a car guy, so I like to look at types of engine, tow capacity, the bells and whistles. What are their, common problems with them, and all this good stuff. So I've been doing a lot of research on this car, and I'm pretty excited about it. The thing that I'm most excited about it, though, it's an awesome looking car, but it's the sound system. It's got a 16 speaker Bose sound system in it that is absolutely incredible sounding. I mean, I don't care if the car doesn't even drive. I just wanted to get it, put it in the driveway so I could listen to it. So I could just go out there and listen to it. So hopefully tomorrow that's what we're going to get. The sound system is just incredible on this thing. So we had to get a new car because Molly, we got the new baby coming, and she's got a small compact. It's a sedan, but we can't fit 5 people in there comfortably. Not 2 kid seats. Our oldest daughter would be squished in the middle, and we want something for Molly that's a little bit bigger. I got the Expedition, which it can seat 8 people very comfortably. Molly's can fit 5 people very uncomfortably. So we were talking about getting a new car for a while, ever since she got pregnant, and now we started looking, and we found this one. I wasn't expecting to buy one until closer to the pregnancy, but we found this one. We're like, yeah. And then when I busted up my car yesterday, I came home. I said, let's just do it. Let's do it. So yeah, back to chat. Back to draft. Majors that take a. That's going to be interesting to see, Kate. Do you think that they're going to start him? Do you think that Show is going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints? Because it looks like Carr might be done there. I know the fan base is not real happy with him. Modded ESPN 2K5, yeah. But Madden is awful. I do, but it's the only game in town, man. I mean, unless you play the old stuff, NFL Blitz and stuff. Trash better ball out in preseason. We've got the new quarterback Connor Bazelak from Bowling Green. He could be our new practice squad guy. Who do we got? Let me look at our roster quarterback wise. I mean, I know we got Trask. I know we got Mayfield. We got anybody else behind them? Michael Pratt and Connor Bazelak. Michael Pratt. When did we get him? I don't remember that. We picked him up in January. He's been with us since last year on the practice squad. Don't know anything about him. He was with Green Bay. They didn't keep him long. Green Bay only had him 2 months. Then they waived him. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying that, Ray Bitch. I hope that we get him. I hope we sign him and then let him at least get one snap. Just so that we can say we will have that record. You know, that we had the lightest and the heaviest players in the NFL. Graham Barton is bottom four. Okay, so you don't mind wingspan with the offense. Or for center, anyhow. I do like it with tackles. Dotson had pretty long arms. Donald Penn, he had some. I don't know if his arms were necessarily long, but he used them really cool. He used them like pistons. He would set up a guy and then just shoot him out. I used to love watching, man. And sometimes he would hit those guys. I'd be like, man, that has got to hurt. He's a good pocket passer. I don't remember him. Did we see him in the offseason last year? What is Dean's wingspan? Do we have him, Jamel Dean's wingspan, in relation to everybody else? I mean, is he in the bottom top? I think he's got to be in the top because he's got that length, man. When he started playing with us, he had such great closing speed, and he would just. It looked like the guy had beat him to wide, almost like he was baiting the quarterback to throw it to the wide receiver. You know, they'd have 2 or 3 yards separation on him. Quarterback would throw it, and Dean would just like move up, catch up with him, and just stick them long arm out, just bat it down. That's what was so impressive with him the first couple of years. And I was like, man, this guy, if he could get some, quality coaching and he can really be a dominant force in the NFL, but he just never. It just seems like he's so blasé with his playing style, with his attitude towards the NFL. It's almost like he's not. He's kind of reminds me of like Ali Marpet in the sense that he's really only an NFL player because he's good at it. It's not that he wants to be. And at this level, you kind of have to have both. You got to be good at it. But you really got to have that passion, I think. Because these guys got to do a lot of crap. What's up, Roger? How you doing, man? What do you think about our draft picks? Do you think that picking wide receiver at 19 was a good idea? And McKeebay, what's his name? Muckboo? 34-inch arms. That's long. I mean, what how long my arms are. Where do they measure it from? Tip of the finger to the top of the shoulder? Let me see. Okay, I'm 27-inch arms. If you do, tip of the finger to the top of the shoulder, or right at the armpit. If that's how you do it. 27. Another 5 inches. Good Lord. Oh my gosh, those are long arms. Who do you like in the late rounds, Roger? Say the guy. Say the guy that I think. Read my mind. Rashad West said it earlier. Who in the late rounds are you excited about? Where can I find the measurables Rampage for past guys? Walker and Tez? Do you think Tez is going to be any good? I don't know a thing about him other than that he is a the lightest guy in the NFL. David Walker is the one guy that I don't have all 22 on. I'm still trying to get it. I will get it. But I like Elijah Roberts. Elijah Roberts, I really like too. I was very surprised that we waited so late to pick up edge, though. But we got 2 wide receivers, 2 cornerbacks, and 2 edge rushers. Very strange draft in that aspect. I understand the edge rushers, I understand the cornerbacks, but wide receivers, man, I'm just kind of like, eh. Well, the one place we didn't have a need is wide receivers. So why did we get 2 of them? Not that I'm upset about the pick. Can't be upset about it yet until they're bust, if they are bust. That's the only time you can be upset, right? Punt and kick returners. Now, Tom was saying that Shiloh Sanders is probably going to be our kick return or special team specialist. So we might have a battle there. Is that what Tez is known for? Special teams? Tez, is that his full name? Or is that his nickname? No, that's his full name? Let me look. Apparently that's his full name. I don't even see a middle name. He was born in 2002. Yeah, that's a while. Makes me feel old. Let's see. Full name. Okay, Keontae. Okay, so Tez is not his name. That is a nickname for Keontez. So his full name is Keontez Johnson. But they've got it listed everywhere as Tez, even on NFL.com, ESPN, Pro Football Reference. It's Tez Johnson, but that's his nickname. That's a nickname, Tez. It's Keontez. Interesting. Bro, what's up, man? Tez will be a top 20 wide receiver. Oh, I know, Raw. I just two wide receivers, man. That's what we picked, two wide receivers in this draft. We got 6 picks. A third of them went to wide receiver. Roger, we were talking earlier about Cleveland, man. What is going on over there? They've got, we counted them, I think it was five quarterbacks fighting for a starting job. They got, although if you don't count Deshaun Watson, I think he's done. You got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, who they drafted 2 rounds before they drafted Shedeur Sanders. What is going on in Cleveland? Who do they have to throw it to? Jerry Jeudy, that's it. And maybe Deontay Johnson if he could stay with the team for more than a week. They got no running game, but they got 5 quarterbacks. And did you see the draft room when they picked Shedeur? Nobody on the Browns looked happy about it. They were all just sitting there. Almost like they were forced to do it. It's almost like the NFL called them and said, look, you're the Cleveland Browns. You got to do something stupid. Pick Shedeur Sanders. That's funny, Roger. Could you imagine if neither one of his sons make the NFL? Oof. Talk about a blow to the ego. Yeah, I counted it up, MH. We've got 10, right now, we've got 10 starting caliber wide receivers. Starting caliber, I think. We got 10 of them. And that's not including the guys we just drafted. We have got a deep wide receiver room, man. Same with our tight end. I think our tight end room is deep. I'm glad we didn't draft a tight end. I would have really been upset. MH, I'm with you 100%. We got it. We're going to have to do something about linebacker. Going to have to. I mean, we got Walker we brought over in free agency. We've got Servassier, which, you know, he looked okay, but you don't know. Antonio Greer's still on, but, you know, I just wasn't too impressed with him. We got to do something about inside linebacker, man. Got to. Apparently, they, you know, it's going to be interesting at edge what we do. You know, we got guys now who are man, we got a lot of project guys. We got Jose Ramirez, Marquis Watts, Chris Braswell, the 2 guys we drafted. David Walker and Elijah. Elijah Roberts. That's a lot of projects. I mean, oof. Chris Braswell better show something this year. Because you know they're not going to get rid of him, right? Not yet. So I'm not gonna watch film on all the undrafted free agents. I will do that center Jake Majors, Desmond Watson. I want to look at him, see how he plays. Shiloh Sanders, I'm going to look at him. Who else? Who else y'all want me to get from the undrafted free agents? I've got film on all the guys we drafted except David Walker, but I'm getting film on him. That's a shame, Rampage. Linebackers just. You remember when linebackers used to be the heart and soul of the defense? Now I with a lot of teams I can't even name their linebackers. Like maybe inside linebackers just going the way of the dodo. Just seems that way. Because the inside linebackers were always the hard hitters, the run stuffers, the thumpers, and that's kind of going out of the league now. So maybe it's just the position where it's really going to be like just another cornerback position. It's going to be the sixth cornerback. Everybody's going to start playing dime defense. Okay, you got to go fishing with Tom, man. Yeah, yeah, they got to. They're the play caller. Um, but I just feel like their roles are. I mean, they're having to do more now, and I think coverage is such a big aspect of it because so many teams are using their tight ends as wide receivers now. So your linebackers have definitely got to cover tight ends. It's kind of always been that way, but the tight ends now are so good at running routes and catching passes that we got linebackers now that are having to cover wide receivers on the regular. It just seems like linebackers are more coverage than they are thumpers. Which it used to be as a linebacker when you went back into coverage, you just dropped into the middle of the field and hit anybody that came across the middle of the field. And you can't do that now. You got to actually play zone or man and cover good receivers. So linebackers, as we know it, they're dinosaurs. Yeah, yeah. Like with our defenses, we got safeties that play nickel, linebacker, blitz. It's a defenses are starting to become such hybrids of, guys have to do everything. You don't get the defensive old where you had the nose tackle up front that weighed 500 pounds and then two beefy guys beside him and then the edge rushers or two huge guys in the middle, and your defensive ends that rushed the passer and the linebackers that thumped and the safeties that patrolled the last line of defense. Now everybody does everything. So I watched that Georgia. I was watching Georgia's defense. I was kind of blown away. I was like, wow, they're playing a defense very similar to us, where just everybody's interchangeable. Like it's like fire across the football world. I don't know. It is what it is. It was a big adjustment watching, going from a 4-3 defense to watching Bowles' 3-4 defense. That was a huge adjustment for me because for a decade, in all 22, I've been watching 4-3, and it's so a standard. Everybody has their roles, and you knew every snap, you knew what everybody was going to do, where they were going to go. And Todd Bowles he rolls up his hybrid 3-4 wackadoodle defense in there, and you don't know what anybody's going to do. Pre-snap, post-snap, you have no idea. Guys are running all over the field. Vita Vey running back and cover. Just, what? Yeah, and so many teams have gotten away from running the ball, on a consistent basis. It's starting to come back though. Last year was a big upswing in running the ball. I mean, heck, we had a couple teams who were actually ran the ball more than they passed the ball, which that's a rarity anymore. And me and Molly talked about that on the podcast years ago and said it's going to happen. All these defenses are going to switch to cornerbacks, these light and fast linebackers and these light defensive lines, focusing on speed, which is what we did. And then teams are going to switch to running the ball, and they're just going to run right over top of all of them, which I think last year we kind of saw the beginning of that. Yeah, yeah. And I'm from that old school football. I like watching the contact. To me, football is a physical sport. To me, it's more of a mental game. I like I more of attrition. I'm going to outlast you, out hit you. You know, we are both going to be laying on this field at the end of the game. Gave everything up, but I'm going to come out on top. Uh, Vince Lombardi says, it's one of my favorite quotes. I say it all the time. Fatigue makes cowards of us all, you know, and I will 100% believe it because I've been there. You get to the point where you just want to quit. You're just like, I'm done. I don't care. I'm done. And I feel like football. That's really what it's about. You hit a guy, make him not want to catch the ball. You see that a lot in the NFL. You definitely more than you do now. But guys would be looking around before they caught the ball and see who was near them. And if they heard the footsteps coming, they'd be like, I don't want that ball. The old Buccaneers, late '90s, mid 2000s were great for that, man. So many guys would just not catch the ball. Like they will take your head off. But now it's more of a strategy finesse game. It is what it is. It'll be two-hand touch before long. Yeah, Nicolo's definitely the base defense anymore. Yeah, just with almost every defense. It's become such a passing game. Who was it last year that ran the ball more than they passed it? I want to say it was two teams. Might have just been one. Was it 49ers? I don't have it here. Bears. Bills. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the Eagles. And maybe the Ravens. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl. In case you didn't know. Yeah, they ran the ball a lot. 621 times. Woo! Ravens only ran it 554 times and they had more yards than the Eagles did. And more yards per carry. Man. Bills had the most touchdowns, rushing touchdowns at 32. Wow. Eagles and Lions both had 29. The Commanders had 25. What do y'all think the Commanders are going to do this year? I saw somebody said they think they're a shoe-in for the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl contender. I was like, whoa, slow down. I don't think either one of those are true. I don't think they're a shoe-in. For the playoffs. I'm trying. What in the world? Okay, here we go. They got somebody. Maybe not. I thought they got somebody I liked. Washington. Guess not. They got an offensive tackle there from Oregon. Can't go wrong there. Yeah, MH. Yeah, big fan of that. I love strategy, man. Exploit the weaknesses. And I think defenses are lighter and faster now. You get a bruising running back game, kind of like how Baltimore does and Philly had. You just plow through people. Yeah, MH, I know. I agree with you. I was not happy with the Panthers draft picks. It's like, man, I wanted them to shoot themselves in the foot. I think they did pretty good. I think Atlanta did really good. I think Atlanta might give us some fits this year. Chargers. Ravens and the Chargers. How'd the Chargers do in the running game? Not as good. They're about mid of the pack. They were underneath us actually in attempts. Isn't that crazy? How fast we went from being the worst rushing team in the league for a number of years to right at the top. I mean, yards per carry, we were third in the league. Not bad. Rush yards, we were fourth. I like it. Very impressive. And I'm hoping it wasn't Liam Cohen. I'm hoping it wasn't Liam Cohen. I'm hoping it wasn't Liam Cohen. Yeah. You think the Commanders are going to be great, huh? Joe, what's up, man? We got the championship team now. I tell you what, if it all depends on wide receivers rooms, I think we do have a championship team. Baker Mayfield's got so many people to throw to now. He's going to have 10,000 yard season. Bredeson's the reason why we run the ball. Was it Bredesen or Bredesen? Let me look it up again. I think it's Bredesen. I'm going to say it right this year. Yeah, Bredesen. Loaf of Bredesen. So I'm going to start calling him Loaf of Bredesen. All right, guys, I got to get off here. I'm starving. and the girls just came back. Hopefully, I got some food. Baker's number one target will be Garrett Green. Yeah, I forgot about him. You think he's going to make the team? That'd be funny. Man, we got so many wide receivers. Ooh, we're going to end up cutting some good wide receivers. Our whole practice squad is going to be nothing but wide receivers. No chance he makes it. Yeah, Joe, sorry about that, brother. But I got to go. I got to get. All right, guys. I'm going to, like I said, I've got film on all these guys, all of our draft picks except David Walker, but I've got that coming. And I'm going to do some short form videos. I'm trying to get back to the short form videos, if time allows. But I'll do some, my thoughts on these guys. I've got their all 22, so I'm going to watch multiple games on them and, just see what we got. Let's see what we got with these guys. But I'm not upset about this draft. I'm kind of middle of the road with it. But we'll see on the all 22. They didn't pick up anybody that I knew at all. Tom did guess our first pick as a sleeper, according to him. I'll have to go back and check that out, man. Taking your word for it. But guys, I got to get off here. Till next time, go Bucs.